I am currently here at Smith's, which just changed its hours, which it's interesting because they're cutting down their hours. They're stopping people from getting excess amounts of goods like toilet paper, but it's still completely sold out. They're sold out of an insane amount of things in this store, and that goes for basically all places here in Las Vegas, as I've shown in places like Walmart. The supply chain is breaking down. Tons of stuff is made in China, and on top of that, people are panic buying. And in some ways for good reasons, in some ways for bad reasons. People should have been prepared a long time ago. But here's what's happening with the store hours here at Smith's and why it's a concern. So, as this Fox 5 news article says, Smith's stores operating temporary reduced hours due to coronavirus. And as the article goes into, Smith's Kroger's has announced that it is operating temporary reduced hours in all stores due to coronavirus. According to Kroger, the company has implemented temporary hours in all stores from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. And I should add that it's usually until about 1 a.m. Now, it's not a huge reduction, but it's significant because, and I'll go into it in a second, as it continues here. It says Kroger operates 38 Smith stores throughout southern Nevada, a spokeswoman for the company said. And earlier this month, Kroger announced that it would be limiting the number of cold, flu, and sanitary products per order. Additionally, among other new policies, Kroger says that it is cleaning commonly used areas more often, including cashier stations, self-checkouts, credit card terminals, conveyor belts, and food service counters, and cleaning shelves when restocking products. And obviously the employees that will be getting lesser hours are going to be compensated for the lesser hours. But with that said, there's more to the story than that. The issue here is that they're cutting store hours, and as they're cutting store hours, this is something a lot of people are concerned about, and this is why people are panic buying, is that these grocery stores could very well be closed due to the pandemic, with a state of emergency in Nevada and a national state of emergency and state of emergencies in many countries around the world and many individual states and cities. There's the possibility that restaurants and public places like grocery stores could be shut down, and then people will be dependent on FEMA. This is something I've been warning about for years. Could be a possibility because people so often don't listen when we try to say it's better to be overly prepared than underprepared. And this issue right here takes the cake. We are in a situation where it's crucial to be prepared, yet people aren't. And instead they're buying 5-year supplies of toilet paper and not enough food. But in the case of Smith's today, when I went in there, what I saw was produce aisles showing empty shelves, tons of empty shelves everywhere you look, even bread and everything like that, frozen food, meats, everything. The pop aisle is almost empty. Water has been reduced to 3 things of water per person, which I still think is a little bit much. They make the rules at their own business, whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I didn't see any water in there. I saw some Propel, I saw some Gatorade, but I didn't see any actual water. And this is an issue that is concerning a lot of people because obviously, if this continues and people aren't prepared and they're panic buying when everything goes down at the same time as the stock market, and obviously this isn't good for Smiths and Kroger either, with the stock market completely collapsing and the Fed trying to pump fake money into the stock market, which is going to cause a bunch of inflation as well. And we're seeing that in real estate prices as well. Everything's fake. With all that combined, we have a huge cataclysm on our hands. Now look, it's not about fear, it's about facts, and facts matter. And with coronavirus, people keep saying, well, the flu kills way more people, but the flu reaches 1 billion people. 1 billion people get the flu, 0.1% of people get it, and statistics show actually with things like H1N1, 0.02% of people died from the H1N1. So let's put that in comparison now. The coronavirus is very detrimental, not just to old people, but obese people with asthma, people with COPD, and then people with things like autoimmune diseases, people with cancer, people with heart conditions, all sorts of stuff. And that's what I'm worried about. Not kids, and people my age are fine, and even most older people are fine. The fact of the matter is, it is detrimental. It can kill a lot of people. The number one issue, though, is what the government does because of this. And martial law, which is basically in effect right now, which is what the national state of emergency is the scariest part for me. And we shouldn't be running and hiding under our tables and begging the government for help. But it's not as black and white as just saying it's fear-mongering or a hoax. The illness exists, though testing is nonsense. The CDC is monopolizing testing, but it doesn't mean that the illness isn't a problem and could be weaponized and could be pushed onto the populace and could be killing people because it was man-made and made in a lab. And obviously it originated in the Netherlands from the records anyway, then into a Winnipeg, Canada lab where a portion of it was studied. And then there's stories about it being stolen in 2015 from this Winnipeg, Canada lab, at least one of the products, and then it was found in Wuhan, China, and then it was accidentally leaked. I don't know about accidental. A lot of officials in Iran say that the U.S. weaponized this. Chinese officials are saying the U.S. weaponized it. U.S. officials are saying the Chinese weaponized it. One way or another, there are people that benefit and people who don't, and we should be following the money and cui bono. But when we're seeing these stores shut down to lower hours and eventually possibly shut down completely as so much is on a standstill, hundreds of thousands of layoffs, and potentially millions of jobs will be lost with the stock market crash and all this at the end of the day, we have to ask, what are we doing about it? How have we been prepared? What have we done to make sure that we and our families are safe? And unfortunately, that question hits a brick wall in far too many cases. But one thing I know for sure is this is history in the making. We've never seen anything like this before. I'm walking down the street, anyone I talk to is either terrified or blowing it off. But the people that are terrified, something's in the air, things have changed, and people feel concerned. And obviously, we have this potential ban from Canadians, or even Canada, is talking about closing the border, which is something I never thought I'd hear before. And there's a European travel ban from Europe to the United States, so it doesn't apply to Americans in Europe, which is strange because then it kind of defeats somewhat of the purpose. But then we have a whole bunch of dependent people, which is what I've talked about for a long time. There's a huge amount of dependent people and even industry dependent on China, which now there's a huge problem with because obviously the supply chain is broken down. And then people that are dependent on the government to help them or save them, or just dependent on this cushy lifestyle that people just can't be independent, self-sustainable, collect their own water. Though, with that said, the government has banned in many cases people growing food on their lawns and collecting rainwater. So it's all come from this criminal racket. They've pushed us into dependency, and now look at us. It's selling out of all these things at all these grocery stores. Amazon is selling out of all their toilet paper and stuff like that, and they can't even put dates on orders and when it'll arrive. It's just gotten so out of control, folks. And while the coronavirus could hurt a lot of people, that's not as much of the point as what government does and utilizes this in order to gain more control over the populace, and how people that can't help themselves will react, and how they'll submit, and how, unfortunately, this will be used as an excuse. And that excuse is more totalitarianism. They're already talking about how they're not getting rid of all the extra security measures in China once the coronavirus is gone. I'm filming this on my phone. It's not the most high-tech video I've ever done, but I think it's important that I talk about this and I go into this quickly with you guys, because the fact of the matter is the supply chain is breaking down, and we're in a lot of trouble if we don't start doing something about it soon. And that means asking yourself, how are you self-sustainable, and what have you done to be self-sustainable? Responsibility is the basis, the foundation of freedom itself. You cannot have one without the other. So I know it's one little thing, Smith's. It's going to carry on to other stores if this continues, and it most likely will. And as it continues, if we see restaurants and stores go down, do you have food? Are you able to, survive? And the question for a lot of people, unfortunately, is they're very dependent, and they're going to depend on FEMA and things like that. No need to panic. There's need to take action and do the right thing. And also not buy 50 things of hand soap so that no one else can buy hand soap and then be clean themselves. I mean, goes without saying. And save some toilet paper, guys. My God, makes no sense. Focus on food, canned food, powdered food, flour, which is selling out in a lot of places. And as always, next time there's a crisis, even 100 years down the line, it doesn't hurt to be at least somewhat prepared, folks. And that has always been the basis of WHAM and the videos that we provide and the solutions we provide. Preparedness for anything that smokes us in the side of the face and then turns into more totalitarianism. Anyways, I've been up all day. I'm tired. I'm leaving the country in the next few days if I can. Wish me luck. It's been a crazy, crazy few days, and we will be talking about this in 100 years. Maybe not I, but many people. This is history in the making. We need to acknowledge that, and we need to make sure that this story ends good for us and our freedom. Anyway, I appreciate everyone watching today, and until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against a mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like float.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Float is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.
Thank you.